Hi guys, it's Carly here. I'm thrilled to be with you today to chat about, of all things, the really sexy topic of rewiring our dopamine dumping sources. I really need to sex that up a little. It's not such a beautiful title, but hang in there. What I'm talking about really is cultivating a really beautiful energy space for ourselves within, and being consciously aware of when we are leaking it or being sucked in by those weapons of mass distraction, which I love. I heard on Lewis Howes' podcast the other day. I freaking love that. And I've been beginning to reflect on some of those avenues that I've either been using to dump my dopamine excessively, or have moved past. And the three areas are really social media, spending, and fixating on romantic love. So I popped a little note up on Insta stories about sort of suggesting perhaps some people might be interested in this particular topic. I'm exploring it myself, so maybe others would be interested. And there was a really, really overwhelmingly positive response with lots of yes, we'd love to hear from you about this. So I'm making a video on it. First of all, I'd like to just let you know where I am. I'm on the rooftop of our house in Patan, which is just outside Kathmandu in Nepal. So we are currently here until April 2017, and that's sexy, like one of my tissues. I'm just coming out of a bit of a cold. So we're here until April, and apologies if the sound is a bit funny, or you hear lots of beeping and traffic. That's just Patan traffic noise, and I just wanted to film outside so you kind of got a bit of a vibe as to where I am, absorb a bit of the beautiful Nepalese kind of energy, bit of crow medicine that just flew past, I think. So yeah. Okay, so first of all, why don't we want to dump dopamine? Now, really, really quickly, there are lots of other blogs, no doubt, and videos that will tell you about dopamine more in depth, but essentially it's our reward chemical, and it also helps us to maintain focus. It helps us with our creativity, and it helps us to really hone our like I just said, focus into whatever creative endeavors that we're seeking to birth. And when we dump dopamine, we obviously create pretty much the opposite effect within our bodies, which is, a lack of focus and more lethargy and just general feelings of tiredness and lack of energy. So we really do want to keep that dopamine kind of circulating in our systems and wired to really release when we have achieved something that's worth the reward chemical that it is. So whether it's finishing that blog post or finishing that work item that you've been meaning to do, that therein your dopamine is released, and that's a constructive release of dopamine. What I've really observed in myself, and I'm quite sure it's probably something that you have also been affected by, is that I'm finding that I'm using social media and spending in particular, and now to a lesser extent romantic love fixation, as my dopamine dumping sort of avenues, and they're not very constructive. It's really not a healthy way for us to be getting our dopamine released and feeling it rush through our body, because having a look at your phone and scrolling through social media and seeing whether it's responses or likes or what have you, it really does create that. It gets that dopamine going through you, but it's in very small doses. So hence why it's addictive. Hence why we want to probably rewire it. And this is why I'm doing the video for you today. Oh gosh, she's fiddling with her hair a lot, doesn't she? She does. She just does. Okay, so starting with social media. In terms of its actual effect on us, I think it's the greatest challenge of this generation, frankly. Social media is a beautiful tool, and it is just that. It is a tool. It is how we use it that determines our its effectiveness or destructive nature in our lives. So really, it's about us using it rather than it using us. And now that it's become such a easy, accessible source of dopamine releasing, it's using us, I think, a lot. I've noticed from time to time when I'm a bit antsy or procrastinating or avoiding doing something, I'll reach for my phone and I'll be like, oh, why? Is there a reason that I'm reaching for my phone? Or do I just want to feel that rush of dopamine? And it normally is the latter. I've become, one of the pointers that I do have is about being conscious, bringing the light of consciousness onto your behavior. So it's like, if you do go to reach for your phone, you go, okay, why am I doing that? First of all, do you have an intention to create or share or connect? Okay, great. Use it as the tool that it's great for. But if it is just to mindlessly scroll or see if you've had responses and likes to a particular post or what have you, and it's that real sort of short-term dopamine release gain, then maybe put it down and see how annoyed you get with yourself every time you go to pick it up. It's like, do I have anything really that I need to be on here for? And it really does create that sense of, okay, no, don't do it. And I tend to put it in another room when it gets to that point. But in terms of rewiring our reward system, I have found that it's been really helpful using an app called Forest. Now, it's on your phone, and it essentially is something that you can pop on and you put it between 25 minutes to an hour to however long you need. And it grows a tree. It grows a tree. If you can get through those minutes without checking your phone, it grows you trees, and you get points, and then the more points you get, you can actually buy trees in real life. So that's another way of just cutting the circuit of that mindless scrolling, because as soon as you pick up your phone, you see, oh, my tree's grown to, do I want to and it just creates a bit of it stops you in your tracks and makes you think a little bit more than what you may normally do when you sort of feel that draw towards the screen, or that draw to flicking with your thumb. So I found that that's really helpful. Also, when you do implement stuff like, say, tech-free evenings, which my partner and I are doing, we literally put our phones and our computers in another room. It's really, really beautiful, the feeling of not, like, there's a certain increased freneticism that you get when you are really connected to your tech and being responsive on your tech, that just subsides when you allow yourself the freedom of a tech-free evening. Initially it's like a bit of a shock, a bit of like, where's my phone? Or there's an ad break maybe on television, or there's, like I'm alone in the room for a bit, and it's like, I could probably check my email, and it's like, no, it's not there. So you've got to really, it's a really interesting observation point and exercise, but the rewards are amazing. It's amazing night's sleep. You wake up in the morning and, there's no phone in sight, and so you get up and make a cup of tea and really just be in a space of beautiful just peace, and not in an immediate dopamine dumping state where you're just dumping it all in the morning, and then what? Like, what are you going to create with? What are you going to bring to your work or bring to your life, your passion, when you've dumped all your dopamine? So that's social media. On to spending. Now, this spending I'm talking about is this kind of spending that you do, which is mindless, which is, just like scrolling through the internet land on Amazon or whatever, and you spy something on Instagram, you're like, oh, I really like, and it's sort of like you go from the, oh, I really like that, to click buy, and you put on your credit card, and, and it's kind of done. So I'm talking about that kind of spending, not the conscious spending and buying something that you value. So in order to really cut off the that automatic, like that the little motivator of, oh, it looks gorgeous on her, or him, straight to the click buy button, is to really look at the product or whatever it is that you're keen on. And I keep a running list. of what it is that that's piqued my interest, that I think I might enjoy. I pop it onto Evernote on this sort of just list of things that I'd love to potentially have. And so that immediately kind of like helps my brain to sort of feel like it's been heard. It's like, okay, I get you. You really want that pair of shoes. Put them down. And then I allow myself to wait and see whether or not the universe wants to bring it to me, to manifest it just without me having to purchase it, which does happen. And that wait time also allows me to really sink into whether or not I truly want that thing, or if there's something else that I already possess which can suffice, or if I just don't need it at all and it was just that moment of, oh, I really would like a dopamine fix to soothe me, that led me to wanting that in the first place. So it really allows me to consciously purchase what I value. Also in this bracket of spending is rewiring our reward system towards saving and or paying down debt. So I found this super useful, and I am seeing the benefits of it immediately. So essentially it's when I funnel a significant amount of cash towards my savings account or to pay down a credit card, I will conjure up in me the feeling of reward. We can conjure up feelings within us without it necessarily having been something that traditionally we would be rewarded by. But you literally sit with this, seeing the savings account go up or the payment of your debt go down. You literally sit with it and just conjure up that same feeling of reward and high five yourself and do a dance and do a jig and really just get those feelings of reward going every time you do it. And lo and behold, honestly, you'll begin to assess purchases based on, could that money go towards paying down my credit card, or could it go towards my savings account for that beautiful trip that I'm wanting to make, or that other experience I'd like to engage with. It really does become part of your decision-making process. And so this is really about, becoming more conscious of what it is that we consume and creating more constructive habits around spending and not using it as an unconscious dopamine release system. So, last one. So our society creates an obsession in most of us when we're younger with the ultimate thing in life being seeking your mate and having a romantic connection, when really it's all dressed up to be essentially codependency. And we are unfortunately products of that. And I saw that in myself for many years. I would find that so much of my focus and attention would go onto my partner, and I'd let all these other things that used to really, really interest me just fall by the wayside because they were my ultimate dopamine releaser. So I found the perfect antidote for that really was my deep, deep soul work. So really going within and and finding out what it was that truly lit me up and created that sort of burning fire of passion and my real potent energy source within me, and also my connection to the universe via my spiritual practice. That really created in me so many alternative sources of energy and dopamine dumping that when I came into my present partnership, I was already in that place of, oh my God, how amazing is this human being, and I love them so much, but I have got so many amazing other things in my life that also thrill me and fill me with passion, that I don't rely on him to be my sole source of dopamine. So for people who are finding that, whether it's their current partner or the quest to find a partner is really becoming their main source of dopamine release, I would truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, recommend that you make it an intention of yours to find what it is that really lights your heart up and really makes you passionate and makes you want to go out and engage with our world, our beautiful world, in a way that just lights you up. We want you to be in your fullest, most exalted state here on earth. We don't want you to be just plugged into, your partner for all of your energy and your dopamine release. We want to see your eyes light up when you are speaking to people about your passion, or engaged in writing about something, or whatever it is, really. I would highly recommend that you find that fire, and whether it's via meditation, journaling, just set the intention to really hone in on that within you, and you will create so many alternative dopamine dumping sources besides your beautiful partner. And how wonderful is that? Less expectation. Let them do what they need to do, and you don't need to have them around so you feel okay, or present so that you're able to feel like you're alive. Like, you are a beautiful human on your own, and we want to see that in the world. So hopefully that helps. I really hope that serves you. If you have any suggestions about alternative dopamine dumping sources, or being able to rewire any one of these, sorry, there's a bit of dust in the air. It's the story of my life here in Nepal, or in Kathmandu. If you've got any ways that you've personally rewired your dopamine releasing sources, then I would love to hear, and I'm sure a lot of other people would love to hear as well. So please share in the comments below. As I mentioned, this is an ongoing process for me, so it's by no means perfect. I do still find myself picking up my phone, or really wanting to go press spend money, particularly on books. Oh, I'm obsessed, but I've got plenty of books to read still. So it's a work in progress, and let's progress together. So I'd love to hear from you. I hope these tips have helped. If you found them helpful, please pass them on. Please share this with anyone you think would like it. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to my channel. I will be posting here far more regularly this year, and I am really dedicated to exercising this throat chakra of mine more. So I am so looking forward to engaging with you here. So much love to you, and I will see you soon. Bye.